Hi everyone, this is MSY's research notes. Yesterday I didn't record my research notes because I studied in the library and there were too many students. I simply couldn't find a place to record my notes. So this is probably my first day that I failed to continue my research note. And also, in this month, at the very beginning of the next month, I need to write an essay and finally submit that essay to the committee of a competition. So this is my major task. So I will just leave like 15 minutes to talk about my research notes. And right now, I'm now focusing on the literature review part of my own essay, and my essay is also about the positive emotions, especially foreign language enjoyment. In the field of second language acquisition. So as I am writing the literature review, I think reading other people's essays is absolutely a necessary process. And I think now I have finished several parts of the literature review, but I think at the very beginning, I'm still polishing my expressions, especially in the first part, because I think, well, the introduction of positive psychology into education and then into um, second language acquisition is a relatively difficult part for me to write about because firstly, I'm not quite familiar with that part, especially positive psychology. I'm more familiar with foreign language enjoyment, which is a more which is a more recent concept. So for the beginning part of the literature review, which is just like the origin of FLE, I think that part is much more difficult for me to write about. So I've spent the whole night writing and reading essays about that part and writing. But I still haven't got a kind of version that can make me feel satisfied. So I think I'll move on that part probably tonight before sleep, and also tomorrow. I will absolutely find a way to describe the origin of positive psychology and also positive emotions in second language acquisition, and then the construct of FLE. And after this introduction or the arrival of positive psychology, and for other parts, for the following parts, it will be much easier for me to write about because I think for other theories or especially essays in relation to FLE, I'm much more familiar with that. So, so probably I think I'll just spend probably half a day to write the first part, the introduction of positive psychology into FLE, and that is very, very time consuming. So that's why I need to even shorter my recordings. I think after this essay, I will continue to write another one or another two before my application to other foreign universities. So my time is really, really limited. So I think I'll just um, save more time on essay writing. And absolutely, I will try my best to just at least leave some time to record my video. And probably I'm also thinking that in the future, sometimes I might, I don't have enough time to analyze each essay in detail or write down all those notes about each sentence or each paragraph. So I think I would just find another approach to record my research notes. And I think I need to find a more efficient way because my time is really, really limited. And also, I need to write essays. I need to apply to other prestigious universities around the world. So I am also facing tremendous pressure here. So sometimes you have to understand that an undergraduate student, he or she normally doesn't have enough time to read essays and take notes. It's basically, normally it's the work of postgraduate students. But, I'm not a normal guy. I think I could have the ability to do more and, achieve more compared with others. So this is probably just one of my purposes of doing this recording here. Well, so this is just about my current situation, and I hope that if you watch this video, or if I watch this video later or after my application, or one day, if I am successfully admitted by another prestigious universities, then I think, well, I can understand the situation that I am facing right now. Otherwise, I would probably have forgotten at that time. So, well, this is just about the thing that I'm facing. And last time, I can remember that we have finished the first part of methodology, and the second part is today's main topic, and it's about participants. So in this part, we have, let me see, we have 7 paragraphs in total, and first is paragraph 1. In paragraph 1, the authors firstly introduced the number of students and the information of the schools they were from. Then the teachers in those schools. Then introduced the ages of participants and 3 age groups, namely 12 to 13, 14 to 15, and 16 to 17. Then the gender distribution among age groups. So you can see this is just like some basic demographic variables, and you can know that the author included several or some necessary information here, such as gender distribution or age, and some introduction to the students and teachers. But I have to tell you that actually sometimes we need to learn how to write methodology. Especially, you need to find some essays which are directly related to your essay. For example, in my essay, I don't think I need to include, in my essay, I won't necessarily, use the same structure as the authors use here, and probably I won't, introduce teachers or participants just like the way the authors organize here in his or her essay. So you need to know that when you're reading methodology part in an essay, well, you need to focus on the structure and the information that the authors included. Then you can just, for example, you can just form a kind of list. And when you're writing your own essay, you can check the list and check whether you have included all those necessary information. And also you can also see probably you have already put too much information in your essay, and those might be a little bit redundant. So this, is the major thing that we need to learn from the methodology. And also we need to learn the design of the experiment. Well, however, I need to say that for this essay, this design is, I think this design is pretty simple. Unlike, for example, the ideodynamic approach, which was proposed by Professor McIntyre, and that approach is, I think, very complicated, and it is one of the most complicated approaches that I have ever seen. It's the combination of electrode cardiogram, electrocardiogram electrode. It also self-rating, and also interview. It's just like a combination of various methods. So I think for that kind of methodology, we need to read it thoroughly. But for this essay, like paragraph 1 about the teachers, about the students, I don't think we need to put too much attention on this part. So this is what I think about participants, about paragraph 1 about participants, about teachers and students here. And paragraph 2 is nationalities, and paragraph 3 is foreign languages they study. Paragraph 4 is the point that the students have reached in their foreign language journey, ranging from beginner to advanced. Paragraph 5 is pupils' own standing in the foreign language class. So you can see from paragraph 1 to paragraph 5, it's just about the individual difference variables, or just different variables about the participants that the authors have already collected. So I think those paragraphs are really, really similar to each other. So I will just omit this part and move to more valuable parts. And paragraph 6 is the results on their last major foreign language test. And paragraph 7 is, the last paragraph of participants, and the authors reported the values of relative standing were positively correlated with self-reported results on their last major foreign language test. Well, I think why the author, after collection, why the author at the very end of this part says something about the correlation of different variables. I think this part serves as a proof that the students, they treated this kind of questionnaire or scale or this kind of data collection process very seriously, because they are not randomly filling the scale or the questions, since you can see that the questions are correlated and the answers are also correlated. Therefore, it serves as a proof that you can see the students, they are not contradictory. Their answers are not contradictory. So this shows data accuracy, and I think that is probably one purpose of the last paragraph. So this is about participants. And the last part of methodology is instrument. So you can see actually, you can see that the methodology part is very simple. It only contains 3 different parts. And for example, you didn't really introduce like data analysis or procedure. Well, probably because this is not a kind of intervention study. So in my study, which is about the quasi-experimental study of a kind of intervention or pedagogical approach, and the test of the effects of such a pedagogical approach. So I think, based on other essays that I have written about and studied thoroughly, I think I absolutely, in the methodology part, I need to include procedures, I need to include the data analysis, and of course, I need to include participants, measures, and I need to say much more things compared with this essay. So I'm not quite sure why the author only write methodology part so simple, or probably because they used the same the same data set of a previous study. So if the readers are very interested about the experiment, they can resort to the previous study. So probably this is one reason why the authors here described the methodology part in a simple way. I think probably if there were not a previous study, I think they they would have added more details here in the methodology part. So here's the last part about the instrument. So the logic of this part is very clear. Part 1 is paragraph 1 to 5 is the collection of individual difference variables, and part 2 is demographic. Part 2 is paragraph 6 to 7 is about FLE and FLCA scales, and part 3 is distribution of FLE and FLCA scores in 3 groups. You can see that the authors, they also included some results here in the methodology part, some necessary results. Well, I'll explain this later. And part 4 is the ethnicity or ethic declaration. So this is also a necessary part to show that the essay follows a strict ethnicity. So you can see that why the author here presents some results, especially some demographic results or some preliminary analysis of the data set here. I think you can see that firstly, I have mentioned it proves the accuracy of your data, and secondly, since there is a kind of part which is called results, then you need to think that what information will be included in the results part. I think those information in the results part, so I think those information in the result part, they have the same aim or the same goal, which is to answer the research questions. Well, so for those results which cannot directly answer the research questions, the authors put them in the methodology part. So this is also applicable to my research because my research is about the effects of a certain pedagogical approach. And I have 2 research questions, and I think the results part should only include information which can directly support my research questions. And for other like demographic variables, and in this essay, the individual difference variables, I think those things should be included here in the methodology part instead of in the results part. Otherwise, the results part would be too messy. And if the author put some preliminary data analysis results here in the methodology part, then you can show the readers that when you are reading the methodology part, when you are reading about the participants, you can directly know how participants look like. You can have a general image or a general impression about the participants, since you have already got the data, instead of only reading about the design of the experiment. So while you're reading the methodology, you're also getting some information about the results, and I think this can help reader to form like a more comprehensive image of your experiment. So this is the end of the methodology part, and tomorrow I move to the next part, which is the results. And I think, like what I've said in my previous video, I will leave more time to the conclusion part. And probably after introducing this essay, I will move to other essay, which is about the dynamic feature also the moment-to-moment fluctuations of foreign language enjoyment or other essays which are closely related to my own study. And I think probably I won't introduce each essay in such detail since my time is really, really limited. And I absolutely need more time to write my own essays. Otherwise, I don't have much time to publish that essay before my application to foreign studies. So, so I need to change my plan and find a more effective way. But luckily, tomorrow I only have one course, and the day after tomorrow would be Saturday, and I will have plenty of time to write my own essays. And I really hope everything will be fine. And I will see you tomorrow, and I promise I'll continue my effort in doing my research and also recording my research notes. And this is the end of today. And this is MSY's research note. See you tomorrow. Good night.